Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys right now. I don't want to do this next segment.
Why?
I don't. I canceled it last week, but I got outvoted by the two of you. Butler's not here. He's as good as dead.
Yeah.
You guys voted to continue Bird Wednesday. I voted against Bird Wednesday. It's frustrating to me because now birds are just, it's like, oh, we pull up the video. You know, I don't even know what we're doing. We look at the video, we're like, oh, this bird's got a D off its head. This bird's got weird wings. This bird's got knobby feet. Well, this bird is loud. We have determined through Bird Wednesday that no birds are good for anything. They're not even good pets. They don't. Are they carrying seeds through? Are they like germinating plants? Are they helping society? Are they doing any? No, they're not.
They do.
They're the closest to dinosaurs. There's a reason dinosaurs are gone. Kill the bird.
Well, maybe, we do have a bird for Bird Wednesday, but maybe this can pivot to...
What happened to, know what I mean?
What?
I wanted to switch Bird Wednesday into a new thing where we take a meme and then we analyze it. It's called Know What I Mean.
No, yeah.
We can do that.
That's Know What I Mean Thursday.
Okay. But it's all wiggy-woggy now.
Yeah,
there's like
no,
Tuesdays,
that's Wiggy-Woggy Friday.
Wiggy-Woggy Friday.
I don't know what Wiki Walkie is.
I don't even.
Maybe we could explore the conspiracy theory that all birds are fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
birds are not real,
and that birds are just
there are people
drones
right now
for the government.
There are people right now that believe that we've been quarantined. So a team of I read this last night. So a team of government operatives can go out and change the batteries in all of the birds. And that we've been pushed inside so we don't have to see these people. It could be our mate. It could be that guy out there blowing my scooter with his air blower out there with his what I don't even know what that thing's called.
Leaf blower.
Thank you.
That guy's not changing the batteries.
Let's just get it over with because we have to do it. It's Bird Wednesday, everybody. Tom's favorite song. Are you watching it? It's the Trash Man with Surfing Bird.
Why is he singing like that?
Why is he singing like that?
That guy's dead, right?
Yeah, that guy's as good as dead.
Well, I'm just saying.
Corona got him. He's old.
Bird flu got him.
How'd you even write this song?
Who filmed this?
Tony Palmiotti.
What did he say?
He goes, everybody's heart.
You're like lazy singing. You're just,
well, I mean,
you're doing a funny voice and that's not singing.
Play that song for your kids.
I like you. I bet Tommy and Max will flip their lids.
Whitney Houston can sing. That's not singing.
Not anymore, she can't.
Yeah.
I mean, if this guy's still alive, he wins, right?
Yeah.
If it's him versus
he's
Whitney
Houston.
Houston.
He's like in his 30s there in the 60s.
He's not. Look up. Okay, Sam, look up The Trash Men Surfing Bird. 1963 is when this came out. That is that's a god-awful song. But anyway.
Could be, I guess he could be in his 80s or 90s, but
yeah.
He partied hard.
Yeah. You think so?
You were a famous musician in the 60s. You for sure partied.
He was in his 20s, I bet, here, because people looked older, right?
Yeah. You put on a suit, and you look like a gentleman.
Yeah, you look like a gentleman. This guy could have been 19 years old.
Yeah, look at
Did you find the Trash Men?
Yeah, but now I gotta...
he's the lead singer of the Trash Men, who looks oddly like Cadillac Pat.
Yeah.
Cadillac Pat could be the lead singer of the Trash Men.
Well, if you're white and fit with a poofy blonde hair,
you're Cadillac Pat.
Y'all look the same.
Anyway, welcome to Bird Wednesday, everybody. Bird Wednesday sponsored today by...
Yep. OCLS.info. It's still open online. You can go. If you have your library card, everything's for free.
Yep.
They got courses online. Use the time to, maybe take a course on something that you've always wanted to. Like now... Yeah. if anything, if there's any silver lining in all this,
Well, there isn't, but
no. Well,
He's still alive, by the way.
yeah,
He's
he
77
wins.
years old.
Yeah,
he's only 77.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
He must have been a teen now when
I
he
bet
said
they
that.
were.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
they
I'm
were
going,
surf rock
I'm
group.
going back.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going back here.
I mean,
Here's a
this-
little more. There he is. There he goes. You can watch this, by the way, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. Look at him go.
This is 57 years ago.
Yeah, 1963 is when this came out.
So, if he must have been.
He's now in a bluegrass band called the Platte Valley Boys.
The Platte Valley Boys?
He must be on like early
Let me look
20s
them
in
up.
this.
Platte. Yeah, he reformed the band in the 1990s, and now he plays in a bluegrass band.
All right, here I got him. I got him right
All
here.
right.
Here he
Still
is.
sing
Oh,
like
I
this.
hope he still sings like
From
it.
the main stage, the traditional bluegrass and high soulful
This is from the
harmonies of
Grassland Jam. Man, my wife loves bluegrass. It's nerd music. It's nerd country music is bluegrass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it though. Okay, here he goes.
I hope he's like. That's the only song he knows.
He can't let it go.
Everybody's heard about bluegrass birds.
They're like, Scott, can you sing any other way? Oh. Uh-oh, I thought they were doing the
Oh, there he is. There he is. Look at him look at him go.
Still
the
got it.
banjo? Wait. Not only is he not dead, he's banjo crazy.
Yeah.
You know what, sir? You're my
He
new
wins.
hero.
Tip of the
there
hat.
he is. There he is right there.
Look at it. Still looks he's fine.
He's doing great. All right, man. Well, there you go. Bird is the word, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is? Did you send me a video for Bird of the Week?
did.
Okay, I'm gonna have to track that down. But
So our bird of the week for Bird Wednesday is the long-tailed widow bird,
the long tail,
also known as the sakabula.
Sakabula.
It is found in Angola, Botswana, the DR Congo, Kenya, Lesotho, South Africa, Swaziland, and Zambia. So it's an African bird.
What's this thing called again? Because it didn't
The
come through.
long-tailed widow bird.
Long-tailed. That's soon to be my wife. Long bulldog ass. Her cheeks, they drag the ground. I have to put roller skates on them to keep her from getting carpet burn.
Adult breeding males are mostly entirely black with orange and white shoulders, long wide tails, and a bluish-white bill. Females are rather inconspicuous, their feathers streaked tawny and black with pale patches on the chest, breast, and back, narrow tail feathers, and horn-colored bills.
All right, here is
So you
the...
see, they do have quite the tail there.
No, yeah. Long.
That's a big tail.
Now, the video I sent you, the second one, this is up next, where they're jumping at each other.
Okay.
Two males.
Whoa,
they're
look
doing
at him go.
They're doing a jumping contest.
Oh, my God, look at this thing jumping.
I think that's the female.
Okay, she's beautiful.
Oh, more than a little gardening to impress the ladies.
Yeah. You know what impresses me? A guy that can jump.
Jumping is the right idea.
Well, I mean, in certain communities, that's a big deal. I feel like in this, like my end goal for being, like, because we use our voice all the time, is I want to be the old man that narrates some sort of stupid animal thing, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the end game.
You could do
In
that.
all of this dumb radio podcast BS that we do daily, the end game is to be the old man who's like, you'll notice here that this bird is trying to get the attention of the female, and he's doing it in a strange way by none other than jumping. Like, that's so awesome.
You just go to your home studio
Oh, it's your
in your
closet.
basement.
Yeah.
It's your closet.
And you read you get your email of what you need to read for the whatever production you're doing. You read that. You take a couple takes. You have an editor, so you don't even need to edit it yourself.
do this.
You just email the raw file to a Dropbox.
It goes to a Dropbox.
Yeah.
It automatically, like
Yeah.
Sam and I have it set up sort of similar where when I download something or when she downloads something that like a final product,
Yeah.
it goes directly to me. Like she's exporting it to my computer, which is nice.
Then you go up to your kitchen, you drink your coffee, get ready for your gardening, and you get your $3,800 direct deposit check in your mail. You know, like that's it.
You might go into your garage. You might tinker
Tinker.
with some of your classic cars that you own because you're filthy stinking rich. Your wife comes in. She wants to make a summer salad and some sort of vodka-inspired lemonade that she watched on Food TV.
Yeah.
Oh, what a life.
I am enjoying, we'll get back to the bird in a second, but I am slowly, similar to an old man in the bath, easing into enjoying old men things. And
Well, it's easier than ever because you have no choice when you're at your house but to enjoy old man things. Like something as crazy as, and I can't believe you and I both did this, but over the weekend, I noticed that you fixed your pantry while I was fixing my pantry. We didn't set that up. We didn't talk about that. Just so happens that both of our pantries were broken or whatever, or spice racks or whatever the thing is. And that's what we worked on. That is an old man thing.
It is, but the old man thing I'm talking about is like slowly getting into or enjoying gardening. And because I got my tower garden up and running again. Now, not really gardening.
Well, you got peppers in it. I know that. And then you had some other, what else did you put in there?
I got tomato, eggplant. I'm going to grow a Carolina Reaper. I got the seeds. And I'm going to track the growth and eventually feed it to Butler when he screws up, you know. And
well, he already screwed up. He's not here today. Where's Butler?
He
has a friend or an acquaintance that might be compromised.
It's one of his wife's, someone that she had been around, said that she got sick. She didn't know what it was.
So he called me this morning and he's like, "Hey, I just want to be honest with you guys and let you know." And I was like, "Well, you're fired."
Yeah. We definitely immediately fired for possibly maybe
putting
having
us
a cold.
in jeopardy. How dare you?
Yeah, but
you came in here.
He's going to be fine, but we just...
I ate Pringles with you, for Christ's sake.
That's true.
I ate Pringles with this dude.
You guys were like...
It's the white
sharing.
version.
Yeah, I have.
Snacks.
A lot of people don't know this, but I have Butler feed me Pringles. He does the duck bill, where you put 2 Pringles upside down.
but it's mouth
he
to
baby
mouth.
birds them right into my mouth. I make him do that while I'm on the toilet.
Lick the barbecue powder off. I don't like it.
I hate barbecue
I want
powder.
plain.
That's disgusting.
Lick this barbecue powder off, you piece of ass. You disgust me. Ew, your whole mouth is covered in barbecue powder. Who told you to do that? Me? Yes. Kill yourself.
So I am going to grow a Carolina Reaper, and then eventually he'll eat it. But I go out.
Well, are you gonna hire him back just to eat a Reaper? Not a bad job.
I literally did so much gardening that I have like 8 trash barrels filled with tree. Like I cut a bunch of
trees. You cut down enough trees
Who
to
has
fill
8 trash cans.
Well, I borrowed it from my neighbor.
I mean, when you're a trash person, it's like pants.
Gotcha.
And then I planted a bunch of stuff. So now when I get home, even though really I don't have any more time than I did before. It's you know
my new thing,
except for the weekends that
I don't have a yard, so I can't garden. But my new thing is I have one of those bottle brush. Like those long, it's a purple brush on the end, and it's like you get cobwebs with it. So every afternoon, I get a cold beer, and I go out on my balcony, and I swoop the spider cobwebs. I get them all. My balcony is pristine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never looked this good. I've lived in this house like 7-8 years. It's never looked this good. It looks amazing. But anyway, back to this dumb bird.
Yeah.
Is there anything else special that this thing does
Well,
other than...
between 6 and 8 of their 12 tail feathers are approximately 20 inches long.
Look at him go.
The tail during flight displays is expanded vertically into a deep, long keel below the male as he flies with slow wing beats 20 to 78 inches above his territory.
Are we supposed to marvel at this, or are we supposed to think that this thing is, stupid?
I think it's pretty cool.
I do like his hopping. I just wish there was an end game to it, like he was accomplishing something. I'd like it better if he was hopping and smashing berries to eat later or something. You know what I mean?
Well, he's hopping for a reason.
Well, he's hopping to get
sex. Bird poontang.
He just wants to get at it.
Yeah. And
that's a big jump, that one.
It's interesting. We were watching a nature show, I think 2 nights ago, because we just wanted to complete
calm
nothingness.
Yeah.
and
calm.
we were watching one of these Planet Earth or like Disney Oceans or whatever.
Right.
And we watched one on freshwater, and they showed like the mayfly, like I guess hatching every year. Where it's kind of why people like fly fish. They emulate the mayflies, which is like this big gross fly insect that hatches once a year, lives for a day, only to procreate. To
ask me if mayflies fly.
Do mayflies fly?
They may.
And then they die. They procreate, lay eggs, and die, only to hatch a year later. And then my wife's like, that's all they exist for is one day.
It's a circle of life, man.
And they just one day they live just to lay eggs with each other and then die, and then a year later it happens all again. And I'm like, that's what life is. Life doesn't need a purpose.
No.
Their purpose is they're part of the food chain.
Yeah,
but to them they probably don't think that. I mean, to them
they don't think anything.
To them a day is a lifetime, right?
Well, their purpose is to just lay eggs and continue on with their species. That's it. Like, it doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
And all animals and everything, human beings, like that's our only purpose for all life is. I mean, even for viruses, like it's everything. Anything is living. All they do is want to. Like spread.
A lot of people
don't.
A lot of people don't know that the coronavirus is actually having a jumping contest right now to attract a female coronavirus.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: a lot of species don't get to pass on their own DNA, but they're like individually. But their species does, you know what I'm saying? So even though you don't have a kid, like, there's plenty of kids to go around, you know? So,
but you're fighting the good fight by not doing it, I'll say.
I'm trying.
Yeah, that's, and so it's interesting that there's really, these birds have just evolved over who knows how long just to jump the highest and impress the female the most so that they can, pass their genes along, and then their genes are the ones that have the highest jumping abilities, and that's it.
I have a question for Bird Wednesday since, this one's not that bad. Normally they get a little off the rails and weird. This one's not that bad. What bird, or is there a bird that's closer to us or closer to like humans or primates than the traditional bird? Are there like birds like hybrids? I'm not, like the platypus is one of those animals that even when my daughter's like studying it, when you start talking about it, you get some gray areas and some weirdness there.
Yeah, because it lays eggs, but it's a mammal.
Right.
It has crossover
What about the dodo bird?
traits.
No longer exists.
What about the dodo bird, Sam?
I don't
a lot of dodos around here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any bird mammal crossover. Because there's certain animals that just don't.
What about a parrot because they can talk?
But they don't know that they're talking, so I don't.
They're just mimicking sound. Like there's birds out in the wild that mimic the sound of a chainsaw because they hear it in like logging industry. So they just adopted the chainsaw sound. We've played that before.
We play. It's kind of sad.
It's literally like
Tweety bird.
When you think about it, it's really sad. It's like the bird can do a perfect, like
imitation
impression of what's killing him. You know what I mean? Like it's so.
Yeah. It's ironic.
It's not good.
But I don't know if there's any birds that have. I'm
thinking like solid bones instead of hollow bones.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Penguins are kind of cool in that respect. That I don't like. When I look at a penguin, I don't think bird. I think penguin.
Yeah.
But I've created that in my own head.
It's evolved to have weird characteristics of non-flying, swimming, that
Tuna Daddy in the chat says that we're the closest to chickens. We share 65% of the same DNA sequencing as chickens. Now I kind of feel bad for eating so much chicken.
That's kind of the question I was wondering. Yeah, which one are we the closest, because everybody's sort of, in a weird way, cellular. And if you break it down to atoms and molecules, we're all basically
made of the same stuff.
It's just like, which one are we a little bit more similar to? But chickens, that's a disappointing answer.
But all life is pretty similar just because it's life. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty similar.
I kind of wanted there to be like some sort of weird connection between like us and then an ostrich and then ostrich and Daddy Longneck, or like, you know what I mean? Like I want I want it to be like mapped out perfectly and like tie a little bow on it, but it's never going to be like that because, you know, science.
Samantha, not to jump around crazy, but
like that bird.
Look around.
Yeah.
Look for
Good
the
time.
actual definition of the conspiracy theory of all birds are fake and that kind of thing. I know a BDM there was actually still is, probably can't leave, in New York, was saw a picture or some sort of computer printout of a like flyer that said like all birds are fake, you know. And who knows if
yeah. Well, that's been like sort of like an internet thing and like a meme and like a comedy thing.
It goes around like the flat earth thing. Where,
This is a
well, the bird
long
thing,
conspiracy.
the bird thing to me seems more humorous than the flat earth. The flat earth thing to me, there are some people, well, I think there are, I don't even know anymore, you know, like nothing is real anymore, but it's like, I think flat earth people are real, but like, you got to change the batteries
Some
in the
of 'em
pigeons
are.
to me. I don't think there's really anybody that actually believes that other than like a crazy homeless person wearing goggles and pushing like a shopping cart full of wet blankets and sticks.
But again,
Basically, the CIA is behind it.
Yeah.
They made like the,
Surveillance.
bird drones with cameras.
They're
to,
surveillance
yeah.
birds, right?
Right.
To keep their eyes on us. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, no. That's
and then part of the conspiracy theory is that all birds are that, right? And
Correct.
and then there's
That
no
the CIA somehow removed all birds from the United States, like real birds, and replaced them with robots that look like and mimic real birds in every way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the part of the conspiracy theory is they actually killed all the birds.
yeah, they removed them.
and not that all the birds somehow died a long time ago.
But if we
and-
had that sort of technology to produce millions of robot birds across North America, I would imagine we'd be able to dial in a vaccine pretty damn fast.
well, don't apply any logic to it.
no, I know.
This is all
I made
absurd.
I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I'm
But
an idiot.
I just, you're right. It's fascinating to me that anybody actually believes it.
It's
or
hard
is
for
it
me
just,
to. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around somebody like doing that seriously, other than doing it because they think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
it's got to be like satire.
Because if you did do that, it would show me that your level of intelligence has reached a level of like maybe you need somebody else to care for you, right?
Honestly, I didn't even truly believe that the flat earthers believed in
Well, the
their
ones
own
we
BS.
talked to didn't. I don't believe that they did.
Yeah, that they're just
It
trolling.
was a put on.
Up until the guy died in his rocket, and
Some
then
of their shirts on the Birds Aren't Real website are pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The
just
birds
Bird
are,
watching goes both ways.
Yeah.
I want that shirt.
That's a great shirt. I would
It's just
wear,
for comedy,
I would wear
though. Yeah,
that
yeah.
shirt. That's funny.
because there's
If
comedy.
it flies, it spies. These are great.
These are great.
There's comedy in believing, or just even saying you believe in some absurdly ridiculous.
I
conspiracy
mean, we've done
theory.
it on the show before. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like oh, this is the only thing I believe this. You know, and then people are like, "You're an idiot," and then you just, you get bored, and eventually you forget you said it.
When the flat Earth guy died in the rocket, that's when I
That's
truly.
kinda sad.
It is sad, but I truly believed that he believed it. I was like,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
he's
I was
an
like,
insane person.
He is.
Is it possible though to say you believe it? No, you don't believe it. You think you're benefiting from this, and then you didn't necessarily think you were going to die.
yes, yeah, it is.
And
Yeah.
then
it definitely is. I mean, it definitely possible.
maybe you just quote took it a little too far.
Yes, he definitely took it too far, and took an extremely dangerous chance.
Yeah, it's
and
not
then-
good.
Yeah. I mean, I would even put the percentage likelihood that he survived in whatever cockamamie scheme he had was like, I mean, probably the same chance that Evel Knievel survived that Snake River Canyon rocket
yeah.
thing. It's like, 50-50, like
evil,
a coin flip.
tough old bastard, though.
Yeah.
You got to give him maybe the edge just based on pure negativity and hate.
Yeah, and that's what you start putting percentages to anything, and you're like 50-50. You don't want to be anywhere near a 50-50.
No.
Like
That's not good.
Yeah, that's the betting on red or black. I mean, that's not even the red or black of the roulette wheel.
It's
That's
a
a
green.
48 because
Yeah.
they're two greens.
Go for the zeros.
So like you bet on a coin flip, and you're wrong 50% of the time, like, and that's a high chance of success, though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
You're right.
No one puts any percentages to anything. You're like a 1% chance, and you're like, oh, that's pretty small. Anyway.
Well, I'm back in. I'm back in. I like
right.
Bird Wednesday again. You pulled me around. I was ready to crap on it and kill it, but we got to get out of here, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We certainly do appreciate it. We are a small business, so all that we ask is you check out our website, tomandan.com. Check out all the merch that we have, and if you do like the show, if you like a corporate time, if you like this radio show, you can sign up to be a BDM member, or if you already are, maybe you can up your membership just a touch to help us out. But we're going to try and keep things as normal as humanly possible, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
I think Butler gave me the Ronas. I got a fever.
No hoodie today.
Burning
No Butler today. What's he gonna do? Probably get high and sleep.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what you do.
So we've got Chris Gwaltney on the line. How you doing, Chris?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing great.
Hey, man, you still locked in your own humidor, like keeping yourself humidified?
Absolutely, I'm perfectly humidified. Actually, I'm actually getting out a little bit, breaking quarantine and visiting some of our stores. Our stores obviously are still open here in Florida.
Yes, sir.
So, which is great. I know everybody's extremely happy about that. And
it's paramount. Like, it's funny because driving around on my scooter, I'll drive past my ABC, the little one that I love on Corinne, it's my home store. It's got a tiny little humidor in there. I love it. I'll drive by there. Everything else goes down. You drive by there, it's a party.
Oh yeah, there's
well, not a party.
Sir.
I mean, they're doing what they should do. I'm just saying, there's a lot of cars in there.
Yeah,
is what I'm
business,
saying. Yeah, they're not. They're practicing what they should.
Well,
but
people
a lot of cars.
People need their cigars and alcohol.
It's essential.
Yeah.
My neighbor
during these times.
My neighbor Stu and Sue. Stu likes a good cigar, and he was on his balcony last night firing one up. So, how are things at humidor.com? Any new developments and things that people can?
No, pretty busy. Like I said, we continue to do promotions, and if you're not on the email list, make sure you get on the email list. We got all kinds of really cool deals and specials that we send out to our subscribers. So make sure you have it. Doesn't cost anything. We just need your email, and we can offer you some really cool deals. So,
Chris.
Yeah, obviously e-commerce is huge right now because people, for the most part, are doing the right thing. They don't want to go from home. They don't want to leave home. So the website's doing great.
Nice.
And, in our physical stores, our buy online pickup in the store for people here in Florida that shop at ABC's, that's getting used. We've had it for a long time, and it was it's something that people took advantage of, but it really wasn't. Even some of the stores would be like, man, we only get a couple of orders a day. We're like, yeah, but one day it's going to blow up, and we need to be prepared for it. And certainly this situation, boy, I'm sure glad we have it. And the cool thing is, we've also transitioned, actually launched it today. They sent emails out yesterday. So those who are doing the buy online pickup in the store now, they can opt for a curbside option, so they don't have to come in the store. So when they get to the store, they call the number that's on the email that they get saying their order's ready to pick up, and then someone brings it out to the car. They check the ID. They don't have to let the window down. They just show the ID through the window, and then the employee puts the stuff in the car wherever they want it, and they're on their way.
Yeah,
for folks that are scared to get out.
I wrote this down, but yeah, my mom actually used that service, and all she had to do is pop the hatch, and they put it in. She didn't.
Yes, sir.
She didn't have to do anything. She just sat in the driver's seat, and if you're going to pick up your wine or cigars or White Claw or craft beer, especially delicious Florida craft beer. Man, that 20, it's 20, right? 20% off.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. Yeah, and they'll load it right in the back of your car, and you and your loved ones are good to go for hunkering down.
Yep.
Well, to me, those services that are touchless, where you just pull up, you don't have to deal with it. Everything's paid for, and they just basically put it in the trunk of your car. To me, that's better than delivery because it's a safe way for you to get out of your house and go shopping. You get in your car, you're not interacting with anybody, and there's nothing wrong with driving, getting out and going for a drive. You're not going to get sick in your own car.
Yeah.
So I think it's especially for someone who is at high risk, maybe someone older or someone's got a compromised immune system and they're sitting at home. I think it's a good way. If you get a little stir crazy, just get in your car.
You're touching on something perfectly. Like for somebody like my mom or even us. I haven't left a block in. I couldn't even tell you. how long it's been. But you know, it's nice to be able to get out mentally and actually see something other than your home and, you know, get that nice bottle of wine or, you know, tequila or whatever you got dialed in. And it'll brighten your spirits a little bit. Now, are you doing all right? I mean, you know.
Yeah, we're good. I'm good. Family's good. No one in the family's been, you know, thank goodness, no one that I personally know has contracted the disease. I got a brother-in-law that's a ER doctor up in Detroit at a level 1 trauma center. So we worry about him every day because he's really facing it pretty hard.
Yeah, he's on the front lines for sure.
But they're doing good up there. He's doing a good job. He sent a text last week, said he had lost a patient. He hasn't personally, anyone he's treated on, he hasn't had one die on him yet. So they're really getting after it.
Chris, not to switch total gears, but I know you're a baseball fan, and I listen to a lot of sports stuff. And right now the big debate is how to get sports back up and running and how to organize this. And none of these organizations were obviously prepared for trying to figure out how to resume sports in a safe manner, in a new manner, just to get it out there. Because, you know, it's no secret that a lot of these organizations' revenue comes from TV and TV advertising. So their big concern is just getting the sport back on TV. They know they're going to have to eat all, like, the ticket sales and stuff. And through baseball, I know we were talking yesterday on our sports segment that they were contemplating doing it all in Arizona and in smaller fields. You know, obviously empty stands and stuff. With baseball, it's interesting because I feel like baseball would be the least affected by not having an audience in the stands. You know, just because of the nature of the game,
and you're a little more distant, and you're and you're kind of in the dugout, and you've got your camaraderie there, and you've got your field, and you're doing signs, and you're talking to each other, a lot of communication.
Like I feel like baseball, if you're going to put in an order of least affected by audience, I feel like baseball, maybe football, like basketball, because it's in arenas and it's usually tight on top of each other without an audience, because it's so fast-paced game that the audience crowd noise is there all the time. Like baseball is so, you know, just by the nature of the game, it's slow enough where you'll get a big applause during a hit or something like that. But for the rest of the time, it's basically silent in the stadium. So I feel like the television coverage of baseball wouldn't be that, like the entertainment value wouldn't be affected that much by no one in the stands. But do you think they have the opportunity to, you know, start baseball back up in some way or fashion, or maybe in a modified way?
Well, I think you're right as far as the sports go. I mean, I think I'd put auto racing number one. Is probably the easiest.
That's true.
From because really you're in a car, you don't hear the fans or really see the fans or focus. You're just focused on not killing yourself, going 200 miles an hour.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think auto racing is probably the first thing that would come back and the easiest thing to come back, because there's also no interaction with other people. I mean, you're in a car by yourself. So really, other than the pit crews and the teams behind the scenes or whatever, I mean, it's a pretty isolated, one-on-one kind of craft. Other than that, but of the big sports, other than the auto racing, I would definitely say baseball would be easier from an execution standpoint because of the size of the team, the way the players are kind of separated on the field. You're in an open environment. But I do think the biggest problem would be, and this is what you kind of have to look at, would be what if a player on a team got sick? Do you quarantine the team? What does that mean for that schedule? I mean, that team, that affects every other team and you rotate schedules. So, I mean, that's an issue. They would have to have a plan for that. But I do think that I think you're going down the right avenue as far as executing the sport and fan interaction. I think baseball would be the easiest to come back and play. I think basketball would be difficult because of close proximity of the, you know, and obviously football season would go on, that would be an issue because it's a contact sport. So I think that, and I also think soccer. I think international soccer can probably start. We're probably you'll probably start seeing some of that. That's another one that could come back. I know the fans play a huge part of that. Part of the sport, but I think from an physically executing the sport for television, I do, and it is a huge. People don't think about, but it is big of a spectator sport as it is. I mean, when Barca plays Real Madrid, I mean that is the most watched event on the planet.
Yes.
From a television standpoint, so you do have a lot of people, huge fans of these football clubs that never go to a game.
Globally,
that worship on TV.
Globally,
right.
The percentage of people that actually take it in live is very, very small to as big of an institution that like Real Madrid, Barcelona, your Manchester Uniteds.
Also, soccer has a history of playing games without crowds because of various reasons.
They've done it with baseball too.
Oh yeah,
but, I mean,
from political instability to riots and protests and stuff. Oh yeah, they've done it before. Sporting events in front of
the fights in the 70s. Like I remember, with the riots, they played a couple games with no fans in this. So it's happened in the past.
It's definitely happened. Not to switch gears again, but just to dance back into baseball. What are your thoughts personally as a fan about Mike Trout and the fact that they're potentially with the season? You're talking about a guy who could take arguably the best season of his career, with home runs. So you take that away, and I mean, is that just you just chalk that up as like, sorry, buddy, that dims the brakes, or because I'm looking at a chart right now, and I'll put it up for Twitch viewers, and they did like some projecting. And they were talking about, like, with the season, he could potentially, even over Barry Bonds, he could have hit, like, 783 home runs. And they're basing it off of, like, career trajectory, and they're basing it off of, like, Willie Mays, Rodriguez, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Barry. They base it all, and based on what he's doing.
And his potential, his
statistically, he could, have ended the 2020 season with 783 home runs.
Not anymore.
Right. I mean, I guess you just got that's just them's the breaks, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, and I mean, and there's no way they're going to get a full season in.
No.
Even if they were to start, if you think about how the logistics work in baseball, even if they were able to get started in May, they said they're all clear in May, you're going to have at least a abbreviated version of spring training to get everybody kind of back in shape, maybe a couple weeks, maybe accelerate it. And then you start the season, you're going to have to play a lot. Even if you play lots of doubleheaders, there's no way you're going to get to that big number of 162. You're just not going to do it. So you're probably going to see a 140 game season if things work out great. And as it drags on, could go to a 120 game season. I know they're going to do everything they can from a statistical standpoint, because baseball is about stats and statistical integrity. They don't want to have like a 60-game season because they would have to put, from a statistical standpoint and season records and stuff, there may be some percentage records that would be challenged.
Right.
Of course.
Batting average and things like that they would probably have to asterisk. But I know I know baseball from a sport integrity and a statistical integrity standpoint, they preach that, and that's why they continue to keep Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire out of the Hall of Fame. If I know they want to do everything they can to try and get those games as close to the original number as possible.
I like how baseball plays so many games. They're like, only 120 games? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm being cheated.
100 and goddamn 20?
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
A lot.
Yeah, baseball players
Ridiculous.
go. I love the idea, too. Like, are they going to want to play? It's like, okay, for the next 3 months, you've got triple headers every day. It's like they're trying to squeeze it all in.
Right.
People are getting injured. They hate it. You can't even watch that much baseball. Oh, my God.
If you go back, before the advent of the modern, forget the wild card. I mean, you can go back to where and they didn't play 162 games back then. But can you imagine playing a full baseball season and only two teams? Basically, you had to win the pennant and you played each other for the World Series.
Yeah, right.
Best teams from each league.
Exactly.
So it was like everybody there's only one possibility of making the postseason in each league.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. But you won the pennant, and if you won your league pennant, there's no divisions or no divisional pennant races.
Right.
And of course, no wild card. So you'd have to win your league pennant to get a chance to play in the World Series. So
also,
that's a little different.
Chris, I've been saying for a little bit, like, I'm like, man, they're talking about like the modified season, or like, could you move everybody to Arizona and just do the whole season there and just put people in and like essentially stay at home or stay in your hotel or wherever you're staying, locked down for the season, and then basically quarantine everybody off that's involved, so everybody doesn't, like all these things.
You're just controlling every aspect of.
And then I've been saying these guys are millionaires. They're not going to do it. Like if you got 10, 20, $50 million, but then I forgot about all the guys that are not millionaires that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars that are like, hey, I don't want to miss out on $300,000.
Yeah, I gotta get paid.
I'll do it. I'll take the risk. For if you're telling me that I can make $300,000 or nothing. And I'm not sure how a lot of these guys' contracts are written, but I assume they're written just like any giant corporation, because there are giant corporations, and probably there's some stipulation in the contract that if the season gets canceled for some reason, but these organizations don't necessarily have to pay them unless they have some sort of guaranteed money. So I guess a lot of players would be willing just to do it to make the money, because they start weighing out the chances. They're like, all right, well, I'm young, healthy. If I get, you're telling me there's a small chance of getting this virus, and even if I get it, there's a small chance of being really negatively affected, and I'll take that chance for $200,000 or whatever it is. A lot of AAA ball players and stuff like that will be like, hey, I'll play in the major leagues. I'll do it. I've been waiting for this for years. So the pool of players that I would be willing to say that they'll do it is bigger than I thought, because they're not all millionaires or multimillionaires.
Yeah, I mean, there's you got to feel sorry for a guy that's been busting his hump in the minors, and this was like his year. He got a call up last year, and he was doing really good in camp, and he was going to make the roster, and this was his year. Maybe he was sitting behind a guy, and they traded his position away. And it's his opportunity to make the club and either be the starter or be a utility player because of his skill set. And this is his shot. And then now he's sitting at the house, with watching Netflix.
Yeah.
And he should be playing baseball. So you do you feel bad for those guys. I think baseball. I certainly would not want to be in charge of be the commissioner of the league, because if you talk about playing it in a handful of stadiums, having everybody just play all the games and not do the normal travel rotation, but how does that affect statistics when you talk about different ballparks? Because some ballparks are hitter friendly, some ballparks are pitcher friendly. What does that do from a statistical standpoint if you're not playing, even though you're not playing in front of fans, playing in those different ballparks, just from a dimension standpoint? How does that affect statistics?
Yeah, it has to be the 2020 year of sports is going to have an asterisk next to it, because there's no way you can account for all these variables, and then and then even if they do play somewhat modified season or whatever, how can you put that season and compare it to any other season? You'd have to put it like, hey, this asterisk season, this is an anomaly, and this has to be not accounted in the overall stats because it's so bizarre. Like it basically just put up as by itself as
it's an anomaly.
The 2020 virus season, and this is going to be unlike anything else.
It is what it is. There it is.
Any season percentage stats, that's batting average, any kind of percentage thing that where a lessened number of plate appearances or games that you played in are going to inflate your number and go towards an all-time record. You just have to discard that or put a minimum, because you're talking a lot of games here. If it's a handful of games, if they're able to play 152 or 100, you're not really. It's not a big deal, because when Major League baseball expanded to the current number of games, a lot of people made that claim.
Same
in
argument,
61 when Maris was going to running down Babe Ruth's record, and people saying there should be an asterisk because Babe Ruth did it in less number of games, and there was a lot of pressure on Roger to hit that home run, with 8 or 9 games to go in the season, before so he wouldn't have the asterisk. Of course, he didn't do it, but he still got the record, and the record held. But and they didn't do the asterisk. But I think you're going to have to. You definitely have to look at that. But I think that's stuff that can be fixed down the road. And I think right now, from a revenue standpoint, and really for the sanity of a lot of people, I think getting one of these sports, any sport, back up and running. The first sport that's going to be on TV is going to break every ratings record. I don't care what it is. It could be a curling championship. People are going to lose their mind because it's a live sport.
Right.
So, I do think there's an incentive for whatever league is able to work it out. Whoever's first to the table is going to be king of the TV ratings. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And not to to talk about baseball, your whole segment, Chris, but
I kind of enjoyed that.
I just
a lot of people were saying that they liked it better than Nerd Jock.
They did actually.
I was watching the chat room, and people were like saying we like the Humidor Sports brief better than Nerd Jock.
And we're well aware that there's more important and significant things going on than this, but listen, it's an interesting thing to talk about, and.
What mental health and morale is just as important as anything else.
And
going crazy in your house can kill you just as fast as anything else.
So
and look, and I think if baseball comes back too, they're the first on TV. I think it would be a great opportunity for them to reintroduce themselves to another generation of fans, because baseball has been falling off and has lost a lot of ground to, obviously, not just the NFL, but the NBA has become extremely popular with younger kids. And the NBA is more popular today than ever has been. So I think it's an opportunity. If they're the only thing on television, I think, and people are kind of going to watch it because it's there, and because I think once you watch the game and you kind of understand it a little bit better, I think it's an opportunity for Major League Baseball to reintroduce itself to fans, because people will be kind of forced to watch it because it's the only sport who weren't baseball fans before. So I do. That's a silver lining for baseball there. I do think that outside of auto racing, I do think that baseball will be the first sport to come back, and hopefully it's sooner than later.
Yeah. So Chris, again, if you go to thehumidor.com, use promo code Tom and Dan for a percentage off your order.
Yes, sir.
Also, you'll be available to win a prize. And if you go to ABC, I enrolled into their rewards program.
Hey, I did too.
Yeah, you just give your number, and
it was kind of silly of me not to do that, considering I'm there as much as I'm here.
I know. And I got a percentage off the other day. I was buying a couple cases of White Claw.
You gonna get in that vault, bro? I've already been in there a couple times.
Really?
I can't believe you guys hadn't signed up for that yet.
We're
You're missing out.
We're not that smart, Sam.
I know. I need to.
Well, we're not that smart. This is surprising to you that we're not saving money off of purchases at ABC. Well, hey, man, stay safe. Give the family some love from us. Tell everybody at the Humidor, everybody at ABC, give them some love as well. And I guess we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Yep.
We'll do it, man. You guys be safe out there.
All right, man.
Chris.
Take care. Go baseball.
Thanks.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more. What?
Well, I'm fired up for baseball.
Oh, yeah, it was something.
I need something. Give me a ball.
Yeah.
Going through the air.
And it turns out...
Give me a sport.
That I think the gambling, like all the bookmaking and Vegas and all these, the gambling industry as a whole, I think they were shocked by the... I think they thought that, these degenerates will gamble on anything. Like, we'll just put up anything. And they've been trying for
really?
And people just aren't interested.
Really?
At least what I've seen. Like, in my gambling page, it's just wells run dry. There's nothing.
Because that makes me sad.
I don't want to just go gamble on coin flips I don't even understand.
Yeah,
I
got you.
It's not as fun as then if you think you understand something and you think you have an edge, even though, listen, 90% of the time you don't. But it's the thinking you can get one over on the bookies that makes it fun. I just go on something and just like, oh well, I'm gonna bet on this $20. Lost or won. It's not as fun.
It's not. No, you need the longer, more drawn out. You need the drama. You need
be
personalities.
into it. Yeah.
You need some humans. You need some being able to run the stats and see the personalities and how the game could be affected. Yeah. But you're right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Let's jump into this, man, because I think this is like a perfect example of small business helping the community and doing good stuff.
Yeah, in a way that I didn't even know was possible.
Didn't think so either.
And when I talked to this gentleman the other day, I was asking him about it, and I was like, man, we need to have you on the show because this is super interesting.
Well, a lot of people don't know that there are, distilleries or companies doing things like this or even have the ability to do stuff like this to actually help us a little bit more than just putting that delicious liquor in our mouth or, whether it's cinnamon flavored like a whiskey or a rum, but it's science, right?
Well, and it shows you the ability
it's chemistry
for businesses to pivot what they normally do and do something to help the world. Like for instance, the Dyson guy, and he's like, well, we build vacuums, and like, so we could probably use our already technology and our resources to build ventilators.
Although I have heard that it will suck your hair right off. The suction power of the Dyson ventilator is amazing. Sorry, I can't take anything seriously.
So on the line with us now from Sugar Works Distillery in New Smyrna Beach.
Yes, sir. NSB in the house.
We have, can I call you Dr. Tom? Tom?
Sure.
Oh, see, he doesn't sound like he wants to be called that, even though he is. I mean, can I just give you a compliment? We were sort of blown away in our first conversation with you because you kind of do a lot of stuff, and Tom and I are like weirdly fascinated with gentlemen that we find that can do, like the Renaissance man that can do it all. And you're like a smart guy, and you've invented stuff and done stuff, and then you decide you want a distillery and you want to make like delicious handcrafted libations, and that to us is pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, Tom, let's give us a backstory real quick of Sugar Works Distillery, just because I really liked your story a lot.
Sure. I guess the quick and dirty background is I spent 10 years as an architect, 10 years as an architecture professor, started a technology company for the agricultural industry, and then that reached a point where I needed to bring in a professional CEO, and when I did, I guess I fired myself, and I decided at that point I needed something else to do. We were looking at opportunities here in New Smyrna Beach, and we've lived here for about 10 years, and decided that the distillery might be a good fit. I mean, if you look historically at this region, distilling goes back about 252 years ago. And this was a chance to bring some of that back to our community. And we do a variety of spirits. We've got, I think, 5 rums, 3 whiskeys, and continue to pump out interesting creations.
Well, speaking of the whiskey, we had a shot of your Sugar Works whiskey.
And we really, really, really liked it.
Yeah, on last Friday's show, and enjoyed it a lot. So you guys do a really good job over there. And speaking of that, and the reason we're talking to you today is you guys actually started to produce hand sanitizer because you had the ability to do so through your distillery equipment, which I found fascinating because I didn't even know that was a possibility. So can you explain to us when you decided to start producing hand sanitizer and what you had to do, if anything, to modify your equipment to do so?
Sure. We were approached, I guess it was about 4 weeks ago, by the Florida East Coast Railroad and asked if we could help them with producing some hand sanitizer. It's not something that we had actually considered up to that point, and that was a little ahead of the current wave of most distilleries doing this. So we did a little background checking, and the reality is the basic component of hand sanitizer is ethanol, basically vodka. And we needed to start with creating ethanol, which we do with all of our spirits. I mean, that's ultimately what we consume, whether it's whiskey or rum. And then we combine that per the World Health Organization recipe, which is peroxide, glycerin, and ethanol. And that has to be at least an 80% solution of alcohol to sterilize, and you can use that for your hands or surfaces.
So basically, you're like, well, if we can produce the ethanol, the alcohol, then we can make the hand sanitizer because that's what the main ingredient is.
Indeed.
And how much hand sanitizer have you guys produced so far?
We've done, we actually last night did another 7,500 bottles for the U.S. Postal Service.
Nice.
We have done, I guess, in total about 1,600 gallons.
Oh my God, that's a lot of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, it's been an enormous amount, and we have a number of orders yet to fill over the coming weeks. I expect before this is all said and done, we'll produce somewhere around 2,500 to 3,000 gallons.
Wow.
So like double what you're sitting on now. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Well, that's pretty amazing. And the fact that you were willing even, because I think, the willingness is the important part, is the like, well, let's run it up the flagpole. And a lot of people wouldn't be willing to do that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys are, and you're local, you're right in our backyard, you're NSB, I think that's really, really cool. And to make it for the Postal Service, I mean, we just had the UPS guy come to our door just now. So those guys are out there working every single day.
So, Tom,
They are.
if any of our listeners want to try out any of your products, what's the easiest way to get a SugarWorks distillery product?
Probably the easiest way is to go to your local ABC store. We are carried at the ABCs in the Orlando area as well as the Total Wines. And of course, any ABC in the state can get our product. All you have to do is go and ask, and they'll bring it in. It's available through their central warehouse. And of course, come and visit us at the distillery. We're continue to be open. It's reduced hours right now because of what we're going through, but it is an essential business because we produce hand sanitizer and other things that help you get through the day.
Awesome.
Indeed.
Well, Tom, it was great talking to you, man, and it's great what you're doing, and we really enjoy all the products that you guys produce. So stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome,
Really
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
No
Tom,
problem,
take
Tom.
care, man. Keep doing it. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Take care.
That's a cool
story,
story,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Of a
You
business.
don't think about that.
I didn't even know.
Because you're not going to dump their delicious rum on your hands.
I mean, I might.
That's a waste. Oh, and then lick
Lick
your
it
hand.
off, yeah.
No, I didn't know they had this. I was just looking I remember when you and Butler were talking to this guy. He's like, his story just kept unfolding it was like a spider web. It was like, I don't know if you caught that. He kind of breezed through it pretty quickly, but apparently
He's very humble.
Yeah, he is very humble. So Smart Cat wants to be an architect. That's not good enough. He becomes a doctor architect. So like he's a professor of architecture. Okay. And then that's not enough. So what does he do after that? Because that's not good enough, knowing all the angles and CAD and designing buildings and infrastructure and stuff like that. And then he's like, no, I'm going to do an environmental tech company, make a lot of money. He does that. Everything this guy touches turns to something awesome.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, that's not enough. I'll sell that. I'll fire myself as a CEO. I'll get a guy running it. I'll stay on the board. And then he decides he wants to make delicious treats, make some yummy alcohol. So he's got, I didn't know they had a cinnamon whiskey. I'm on their website right now. Cinnamon whiskey, all different types of rum. He's working on like some tequilas and stuff like that haven't even been done yet. And then if that's not enough, he's like, let's make some hand sanitizer. I love guys that can do whatever they want.
It seems like super smart, motivated people. They often like need a new challenge.
They dabble.
Always, So it's like once they've conquered one particular challenge, like they achieve the goal, they're like, move on to the next.
Kind of like me. I do a Post Malone Weird Job Wednesday theme song, and then eventually I get bored of that and move on to a Lady Gaga shallow version of the Weird Job Wednesday theme song. We're exactly the same, me and Dr. Tom.
I'm more of a once I achieve my goal, I'm like, well, that's it, I'm done. I'm then a ride it out, die.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I did it, and that's all I wanted to do. Nothing else, die.
I can go one step further. I'm a never achieve your goal and die guy.
Yeah. Because it's like, well,
most of us are.
If like, what is it? If I actually achieve it, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I was never a world famous hip hop dancer. Kill myself.
Yeah. Nobody will remember me in 200 years. All my descendants will, I think about that often. Like, my son's great grandkids won't know who the hell I am.
No.
So it's
Your
like
sons don't know who you are.
like my
You don't think they'd pass on the podcast?
no.
Wanna pass this on?
At that
This is dated technology already.
and think
Yeah,
of-
but you know how some people have like photo albums and stuff of like their ancestors or like family books. You don't think that this will be a little piece of your family history that they will pass on? Like, hey, listen to your great great grandfather on
Talk
a podcast.
about farts and D's.
Yeah.
He's talking about his pubes. Good job. What a
don't-
great grandfather.
Well, for instance, I bet my pop gave me a family Bible where his
And he
dad,
kept a rose inside. It was crushed between the pages like it found a place to hide. Elvis Presley, Mama Loved the Roses.
his dad, who fought in World War One and actually died from complications of
the coronavirus?
Mustard gas or whatever the
Oh,
hell.
my God.
Like they were throwing in the trenches of Europe or whatever.
Oh,
you know,
that
like
is terrible.
Like this is a
Yeah, that's a real man.
and but he made it back and lived long. But I think he died like in his 50s or whatever. But this is the guy. Like this guy lived through the Great Depression or whatever. He wrote like stuff down in the family Bible, which my pop gave to me. Is like my dad wrote some letters in here, wrote
That's
some
kinda
notes.
cool,
or whatever.
dude.
And where is it now?
It's in
It's in the
storage
pool
or-
shed.
and I could read that, but I never will.
Well,
or
you can't
ever.
read.
That's weird because you're like into history podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
This is your family history.
You know what you should do? You should record
probably
that.
boring.
You should record it.
Yeah, read it and record
You should
it.
read it as your grandfather and record it
I'm in.
and call it Letters of a Dead Man.
Here's the thing. I'm into interesting stuff.
How do you know
like,
it's not interesting?
yeah.
You haven't read it.
I'm just gonna guess.
Okay.
I like that.
Jesus
I like
Christ.
that. I like
I'm
it.
just
not into it.
like if you tell me what happened through the
You
entire.
make no sense to me at all, Tom.
Well, I'll explain because
Okay.
Give it to me. I'll read it.
like I'm into interesting history. If you take let's say a span of the entire World War I, and you give me a general synopsis of what happened within 2 or 3 hours, but you took.
Did you watch Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah. But
That's
that's
the same thing. It's one man story, right?
Did you
Yeah,
watch
but
Shaving Ryan's Private?
someone spent $100 million making an awesome movie.
But you have
with awesome
firsthand
Yeah, but the
history.
the
now,
letter's
what's
gonna be
better,
like.
the Dumb Bible or 1917? Right?
All I'm saying is,
man.
1917 is more fun to watch
It's the-
than stinky old Bible.
it's the way you present it to me.
Yeah.
Like you spent $100 million producing an awesome action-packed movie. That's going to be
Well, what if
interesting.
this is a great story and you can sell it to somebody and they make a movie about it?
I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's
Okay.
just a regular letter like, Dear Martha, it's been a hard day in the trenches today.
Got mustard gas in my eyes again. They're
cough crazy.
Yeah.
See,
Roids are real
see, you want
bad.
to give it's,
Yeah.
like, it's like, all right, that's that's a letter.
My feet are consistently wet, and the skin off of my toes has been falling off in
Yeah.
my combat boots.
I'm sure it's probably similar to a lot of letters written back. You know what I'm saying? It's
Wish my
You'll never know.
handwriting was better, but my right hand has jungle rot and is falling off.
Also, there's that thing, like people have this connection to, I don't know if it's emotionally or spiritually or whatever it is, like to ancestors of them, like they're interested in like their great-great-grandfather was there, but even though they have no video evidence or like audio evidence, or all they have is like some few writings or whatever, but they feel connected to
Well,
them.
you read the
I really
writings,
don't.
and then you create this own narrative in your
Yeah.
brain.
Like, I don't know my pop-up's dad. Never met him, obviously. Never, heard a couple stories, but there's no really connection there. Or why
Yeah.
would there be? Like, my great-grandfather.
Stone Cold Tom Van.
I like it. I
mean,
kind of like it.
Technically, the connection is I'm related to him through my
Why
grandfather.
don't you bring the Bible in and let us read it?
Yeah.
Um,
He doesn't know where it is.
No.
He's thinking, he's like, oh.
It's somewhere in that
I hope
garage.
it's holding a door open somewhere.
Might be real racist.
Yeah.
I'm
Look,
now,
it's history.
I don't know that.
It was
but
a different time.
I'm just
Bring
doing,
in your racist Bible.
I'm just doing the
Oh, no.
my pop-up's dad's math here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
Bring
says.
in your old family racist Bible, and I'll read from it.
I don't know for sure.
I should not have come here.
It's just like everybody's racist in the early 1900s, you know.
Well, it's like you might find out things you don't want to. You might find some stuff you don't want to see. Like the time I found a nudie mag in my dad's office after he passed, and then I'm shuffling through the nudie mag, and then there were like nude Polaroids. Now he wasn't in any of them, but it looked like they were taken at a pool party. And I remember looking through them, and then my heart kind of sunk because I was like, what if my dad was taking these photos at a pool party and everyone was nude? Well, then I didn't want to look at it. Then I wanted to put everything back and wish that I'd never. So you may not want to open this Bible. You never know what you may read something you never want. You know what I mean?
I want to read it.
You might want to read something you never want to read again.
There's a lot of reasons. Now, maybe one day
you should write in it for your sons. Just got back from the podcast. We did Bird Wednesday. It was terrible.
My
How dare you?
My sons will have full pictures of my entire life, and then starting around me being a teenager, you know, like HD or I guess standard definition video.
It's pretty damn close.
It got the
720.
Got the HD about 2000 what? Around
is that TV HD?
Anyway, it turns out nobody, like I remember Ross told me one time, your kids will never care about what you did until you die.
That's true.
And so you'll
or
never.
At least when they're adults.
Yeah, I would go with the adult thing because I did care what my dad did when I became an adult. But when I was a kid, I didn't care. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You don't really understand it.
And then how much really did you care even when you became adult? Like you were like, you maybe inquired a little bit more information, but did you study it or really deep dive into it?
You only really see what your parents are doing and try to understand it so you know what to A, either not do,
That's
or
what I did.
B, what to do better.
Right.
Because I'm pretty proud that even though my dad's no longer with us, that I am more of a success than he'll ever be.
Also, most people are boring and don't ever really do that, much interesting things, like most of the world just lives their life, has a job, whatever.
What was the phrase
be.
from 2 days ago? We're just get inside your house and die.
They don't. They don't invent.
I've got some Tom Van quotes.
Anything cool or have any interesting story. I mean, how many? Even no.
You're not like the Dyson guy. He's making ventilators and vacuum cleaners. He can only make things that start with the letter V, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll get the anomaly. You'll get the super interesting person that's lives an incredible life, but
we're here to waste our lives until we die. That's a Tom Van quote.
That's it. That's what most people do, right? Waste their time until they die.
I mean, like, would you even consider yourself an interesting person?
I mean, personally, no. But I'm sure there are other people that would argue, totally interesting.
I guess, yeah.
You have a podcast about your lives. You don't think you're interesting?
Well,
I keep telling people we're not, but they keep tuning in. So, I mean,
not that interesting.
It's jokes on them, right?
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
We may have the ability to make you laugh, but the overall, biography of my life, it's,
Jesus, man.
It's
not that great.
Yeah. I mean,
do you think you have an interesting life?
I guess people listen to me.
You said the same thing we did.
But the people that are listening, they really don't have an interesting.
Yeah, but the way you talk about life, it doesn't sound like it's worth living.
Well, I don't want to die because nothing else.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than life.
Write this down.
Put that down. That's me. I got one. How am I doing? How am I doing?
Life, it's better than nothing.
That could be a shirt.
That's a shirt. I finally got one.
Yeah.
Whew, those are hard.
Yeah.
Now I know. I got the blood coming out. Now I know how you feel. It's hard being super witty and not knowing you're doing it. You want to do some? We got time for one voicemail, and then we got to take a quick break.
All right.
We've been really screwing up our break schedule. Let's do this one. I've been pulling a lot of voicemails from our 1-844-TOM, the letter N, DAN number. That's 1-844-TOM-N-DAN. Here's one of those. I've been asking for these too.
Hey guys, question for the business department. Tom's talked a few times before about how, nothing matters, but in the context of you can do anything, and who gives a crap nowadays? It's crazy that radio stations don't want you to cuss because McDonald's will back out. We have a president that admitted that he liked grabbing women by the pee and nobody cared. But I was wondering if Tom's ever felt like his old Drunky the Bear days have hindered him or even prevented him from getting a whatchamacallit, a advertiser. And I'm just wondering because I'm listening to the Hullabaloo interview y'all had with the people that put it on, and I couldn't tell if the lady was messing with you or not, but you said something about like, yeah, back in the day when I used to dress in a bear suit, and she went, you used to dress in a bear suit? So I was wondering if you've ever felt like it has actually hindered you. Okay.
That's a good question. It has. I remember at one point you were having to pivot
to Tom Van American.
Yeah, to Tom Van American. Were you there at the time?
I wasn't there, no.
But that
I just remember.
But that wasn't real.
I thought we had somebody say they didn't feel comfortable. Wasn't it Budweiser?
I was gonna say I think it was an alcohol company.
It was an alcohol company, but it wasn't real in the aspect of I have no first person knowledge of what the conversation even was. It may have been just a salesperson being like, this giant corporation doesn't want to deal with, and that makes sense. It's like a giant alcohol corporation doesn't want anybody that's radio name is Drunky to endorse their product because they don't want to be associated with irresponsible drinking or being drunk.
Makes sense.
Which definitely makes sense. And then, so giant corporations but here's the funny thing is then I just did the live reads as Tom Van. I'm still known by everybody, even the salesperson that's Drunky. I'm just saying Tom Van here. Even on the show, everybody still called me Drunky, so it's all BS anyway. It's like, all right, in the actual commercial, I'm saying Tom Van, but everybody knows me, so it's all false BS. And to answer this guy's question, I have no direct evidence that it has ever affected business, but I'm sure it has.
I mean, but here, let me help you, because there's been times when we were told it might. So even that sales guy that had, when it trickled down to him telling you, well, this big company doesn't necessarily want to work with Drunky the Bear, that's his perception. He could have just been saying that because he didn't want the headache.
Yeah, of course.
So we don't know if it came directly from said alcohol corporation.
It does make sense, but
it does.
But then again,
it doesn't have to happen because sometimes they're so big they don't care.
Yeah. But I will say that I'm sure it's affected people's perception of me and caused people to be like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Which is funny because I have thought of people wearing suits in public as idiots because it's stereotyping. Like, of course, like some guy and that's why I have to be honest with myself and I'm not that mad at like higher ups in Clear Channel or other people just perceiving me as a fool. Of course they would. The guy that dresses in a bear suit is an intern that does like all the stuff on the internet, the ridiculous, foolish things. Like, you're gonna look at a lot of members of Jackass or people that do ridiculous, dumb things as fools.
Except that they're wildly successful.
Yeah, they are successful, but in being a successful fool, but
that's a business.
It doesn't mean that they're less intelligent.
Some would say you're successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yeah, write that down.
But I've never once actually have heard or had like a specific piece of evidence that has showed me that like because of the Drunky the Bear thing, businesses didn't want to work.
Nope.
And
it's never happened.
And the longer I do this, the more I realize businesses just want money, and that's what their whole purpose is. Yeah. And
get the phone to ring, sell something.
And if they can do that, now they won't work with someone who's racist or a POS or have done something horrible or something that could hurt their image or whatever, but we don't do any of that. I've done dumb things like dress in a bear suit and jumped Hummers and stupid goofy stuff, but That doesn't make
if
me.
you zoom in, really.
It
If
doesn't
you
make
zoom
me
in
a
on
bad
the video, I can hear
person.
you yelling racial slurs as you're flying through the air.
Well, that's what I was known for.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why
If
they
you
hired me.
listen really closely, if we were able to isolate just your vocals, man, it's a myriad of racial slurs.
And it went over really well at the Monster Jam.
Do you remember when you
I
used
was
to,
King Monster Jam?
Yeah, do you remember when
That's why they kept hiring me.
You used to believe that the racial slurs propelled you through the air.
Oh, yeah.
Like magic.
And, but I lost my way when I started doing it, different.
Venues.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
You had a captive audience
Yeah,
as soon as you took it out of the
I should have
the
realized
Citrus
my
Bowl.
audience,
Yeah, it doesn't work outside of the Citrus Bowl.
I did it at the,
Oddly enough, in the hood, which is weird. It's weird. That's how it works.
Yeah. All right, let's take a
nothing
break.
makes sense. Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more A Corporate Time right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan. You set this up.
Yeah.
And this is completely and utterly unique. And if you want to kind of see what we're talking about, you're probably going to want to at some point transition to twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or just maybe go to our YouTube channel. Search Tom and Dan Live on YouTube.
So last week, I think on Friday, I got the word from my wife that we were going to be attending our first virtual wedding on Zoom. I believe it was Zoom, but it was a virtual wedding for sure.
That's the one that's getting hacked crazy by the Russians, right? And they're throwing their dongs everywhere.
And I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I was like, really?
Yeah.
And so it turns out my friend from Miami, Jamie, she had her wedding planned for April 4th, 2020. 4/4/2020, and so obviously this had been planned for a year, and with this whole thing going on, it was either postpone it, cancel it until further notice, and she decided to do it anyway and improvise, and she did.
I like that.
She did it on her balcony, and then invited everybody virtually to watch it through Zoom, friends and family. So on Saturday, and my wife Crystal took it as an opportunity to get dressed up. She wore a dress
I saw you had a tuxedo shirt on.
yeah.
So
Nice.
you
I'll
must
dress up, sir.
You must have been when I saw the photo and your hair was all zhuzhed up and you looked really good.
Yeah,
you looked
yeah.
handsome.
Yeah.
But the first thing I thought of when I saw that is I go, he is miserable because his wife made him participate in something. You hate participation. You hate dressing up.
I usually do, but obviously no one can go anywhere, and you can't do anything.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
And so I was like, all right, well, let's make have
the
fun.
best of it, man.
Crystal cooked a cake. We had the boys. We watched it online. And put. I
love it.
We screen shared it to our big screen, so it was like we were there. And so I have Jamie on the line. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. I'm here with Ben also, the groom.
Yes,
groom.
yeah. How you
Hey,
doing,
congratulations, guys.
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Thank you.
And on the other line, I have her sister, Kelly, and she officiated the wedding. Kelly, are you there?
I'm here.
All right.
Hi.
So, first off, Jamie and Ben, when did you guys decide to do this? I'm sure, it became apparent a month probably prior to your wedding date that something was going to have to change, or you guys were going to have to make some sort of decision. So when did you make that decision that you weren't going to be able to do a regular wedding?
The decision to cancel was about 3 weeks before. It just seemed inevitable that the situation here was worsening, and we had so many people coming in from out of town, including all of Ben's family. So yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago, and it was pretty sad.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but we were also focused on a much bigger issue, just the health and safety of everybody and the situation in the world. So we just kind of went along with our lives, our quarantined lives for a few weeks. And then a week before, so I guess last weekend, is when we made the decision to take back our date. Not because it was 4/4/2020, although that doesn't hurt. But yeah, so it was about a week before we seized the opportunity.
And not just because he wanted to make you have to do your hair and put on a tuxedo shirt.
Yeah. I mean, he really did go the extra mile with the
I heard TC or Tom was the one that made Crystal dress up. I don't know.
Oh.
Now, here's something.
Our listeners know.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I think I know, it's that he will like, she's going to make you dress up, but then tell people that you were the catalyst for it, because she doesn't want everybody to I mean, the jig is up. Everybody knows that she married way down.
That's true. And now I did when you guys did it, I was like, wow, like I was surprised that in such short notice you guys were able to even figure it out technically.
Right.
You know, how to do this, because you had limited time and resources. And then when was the decision? When did you guys make the decision to have Kelly, your sister, officiate the wedding? And I want to hear from Kelly, like, what, because you actually went online and got ordained as a
nice.
An internet minister.
I'm an internet minister as well. Hey, blessed be the fruit.
Praise be.
Yeah, she knows.
So, Jamie, when did you decide to have Kelly officiate it?
Excuse me, it's Reverend Kelly.
Oh,
Oh, get him.
sorry, Reverend Kelly.
The Rev.
Well, it seemed like really the only option. We asked our neighbor if they were a notary, but unfortunately he wasn't. And our two neighbors on the next balcony ended up being our witnesses. But we obviously wanted Kelly to be a part of it. And Ben's sister was originally supposed to marry us, so we just did a little switcheroo, and Reverend Kelly, got ordained, and yeah.
And
that's pretty cool.
Kelly, where do you go on the internet to get ordained? Just in case any of our listeners need to do this last minute.
So I just started Googling things. And there are a huge amount of sites that you can do this on. It took me approximately 30 seconds. I literally just had to fill out an online form. And then I'm thinking, wait, is this right? Like, is this good? Do I have to order anything? Is there some kind of like documentation needed? But no, apparently it's just fill out an online form. And what was the name of the one that I used was Church of, gosh, I don't even remember.
Mine's the Universal Life Church.
Yes, that's it.
You're both the same reverend.
Yeah. I'm a card-carrying member now as well.
All right. Well, hey, let me again say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
So, Jamie, of course, I watched the wedding with all your friends and family, and it was great.
It's pretty amazing. Very, very cool, man.
And after it was all said and done, I saw and witnessed the social media explosion.
This video I'm looking at, it's got roughly 300,000 views.
Yeah, on lifestyle_Miami. There's a @OnlyAndDade social media. I know you did some interviews with Miami Herald, or they featured the story. How much media actually covered this after you guys got married?
Well, a lot more than we expected. Yeah, so I think it was those Instagram videos, because the Only and Dave one, I think it was, that you guys saw, what sold it and I think made it go especially viral is what was happening on the balcony underneath us at the same time.
Yes. Describe that real quick for our listeners.
Sure. So there we were having our wedding, and on the balcony directly below us, we were oblivious to him, and him to us was our neighbor doing a seemingly pretty intense shirtless cardio kickboxing workout.
Yeah.
I've got it up right now for people to see.
Yeah, there's Kelly and Jamie.
Oh, there he is. Look at him go.
And the balcony right underneath you, he's got earbuds in, and he's doing a kickboxing routine.
He's going at it, man.
Great.
Oh, look at this guy. He's just punching air.
And how many people were in, because you live in a skyrise condo in in Miami, how many other people are on their balconies watching you guys?
A lot. Because we also, across the street is a similar high-rise with balcony. So those are the people who had the view. And as you might imagine down here, a lot of people are spending a lot more time on their balconies because it's the only way to really be outside.
Yeah.
And then I think the cheering and word spread a little bit. So there were probably, 100 people outside on the balconies looking at us.
Yeah.
I also like that the internet never disappoints in their amount of negativity. And I'm looking at the Only in Dade one. The first comment is, plot twist, that's her future husband doing kickboxing below her. And I'm like, why would you say that? It's her wedding day, for Christ's sake. Why would you say that?
He is ripped.
He is. And he's really getting it, man. He's getting it good.
Actually found Ben on LinkedIn and sent a message because he obviously was informed as well by people that recognized him that he went viral, and we apologized for causing him.
He's a good guy. Like, I'm sorry you had to see me doing Taibo.
I wonder, have you guys had anybody reach out to you that saw this and decided to do it as well? Like, I wonder if this has caused other people that may have at first decided to postpone their wedding and to, just like, hey, let's just do it anyway.
You got to do something, man.
And then just put it on the internet, or at least because you guys, all your family and friends like us were able to at least watch it. We're using technology, which was great.
Look, man, I loved it, and I'm not a fan of really. Tom and I are not fans of really anything. And when I saw you guys all dressed up, and I saw that you were doing it, I was kind of jealous that I didn't have the distraction of being able to watch it as well. And I'm not really a friend, or I wasn't invited, but I was like, damn it, that's really a nice and a loving and kind of positive distraction in the middle of a hunk of crap.
Yeah. So, has anybody told you that they decided to do their wedding similar to you guys and just hold an online deal?
Not directly. We spoke to NBC, and she asked about our comments for other couples facing a similar situation, and I think our comment was basically that it's a very personal decision. Some people probably want to hold out for their big day, which is understandable, but for other people, this is an opportunity, and you can take advantage of the technology and still have your celebration and celebrate love, because like you said, we're living in a big pile of crap right now. And it's nice to bring people together and give people something to celebrate.
Like, this is like one of the only things that I saw since we've been kind of dealing with this that I was like, see, we're going to have to do stuff like this in order to drag. Because mentally, I really believe that
people need some positive story.
Well, we haven't even addressed the ramifications and the amount of negativity and hurt mentally that people are going through right now. Like, nobody's even addressed that. We're all worried about our lungs, and obviously we're worried about wearing our mask and shopping and getting sick. But nobody's even talked about the mental aspect. And it's things like this that when you watch them make you realize that life goes on and we got to pull ourselves up and try to be a bit more positive about this.
Yeah, and also think about the money you saved. My God, the money.
God. Oh, wow. You're rich.
Listen,
CBD, guys.
I'm still paying for my photography for my wedding that was like 10 years ago.
You know how much money Crystal's dad dropped on that GD yacht that we got married on? My God, if I had that money in my hand, it's just a waste.
It would be so great.
I didn't even know half the people there. It's just insanely expensive. I'll end with this. There's two things I wanted to talk about because
is this where you give them love advice? Don't listen to him now.
One is Kelly, Jamie's sister, that officiated the wedding. When we were in high school, there was this bridge that we used to jump off called Snowdens. A lot of people in Miami are familiar. I believe it now has an Instagram page and following.
Everything in Miami has its own Instagram page? My God.
It's ridiculous. And
Only in Dade, Snowden Bridge.
Now, there's a bridge that's probably about, I would say, 20 foot high that most people jump off. Then let's say, 100 yards away in front of the bay where the canal goes out to, there's a dam. and the tip top of the dam you could climb up, and this is when I was in high school, around the outside of the cage of the ladder, by the way. Super sketchy. Climb up and then jump off there, and it's probably like 45 feet. Like, it's high.
That's a stinger.
And you have to clear...
That'll break your feet.
You have to clear a concrete ledge that's right below you that's probably like 10 foot out, and if you landed on it, you'd be instantly killed. Because you're jumping from 45 feet. So you have to clear that, jump into a Miami canal, which already is polluted and disgusting. And, and who knows what's living in there.
Are you saying this is where they should go for their honeymoon?
And no. Somehow, Kelly... one day, because we all used to go to Snowdens on the weekends, jump off, drink beer, that kind of thing. Kids,
you were classy kids.
What high school kids do. And Kelly proclaimed one day that she wanted to jump off the dam, which most of our guy friends didn't do it because of how sketchy it was to climb up and then, jumping off something 45 feet. Like, you'd have to wear shoes because it would slap the bottom of your feet so hard.
Yeah, it's peel the skin right off.
It'd slap them red. So I remember when we were in high school, I was like, all right, Kelly, it's fine. Like, of course, it's a fine mentality that I have. And I told her, I was
From
like,
jumping dams to wedding plans, it's Kelly.
And I said, like, yeah, just follow me up. It's just no big deal. I'll jump off first.
Oh, you were talking her through it.
Yeah. Because she was like, I think I want to do this. Now, in retrospect, nobody should have done it, but especially, Kelly had no experience jumping off 45-foot dams and landing.
But you did. You did.
Well, I was doing it a lot. But so Kelly climbed up like the outside of the ladder because there's a fence to keep people out, So you have to climb up a chain link fence.
But that doesn't matter. Don't follow the rules.
Yeah. And then we got up on top of the dam. I told her I was going to jump first. So I jumped off first, and then from the water, I was like, all right, just jump, whatever.
Yeah.
And because you can't climb back down. So once you get on top of the dam, you're committed.
Well, this sounds like so much fun.
And she jumped, and during the free fall, kind of drifted backwards and landed straight on her ass.
Ooh.
And it hit so hard, I remember that...
It blew her eyeballs out.
That on the water, I thought that things had gone horribly wrong, and she was really hurt because the slap was so ear-piercing.
The rhythmic slapping was that of...
And I literally dove underwater to make sure she's not unconscious in the water. Then
I know why you dove underwater, to check to see if her bikini bottoms blew off.
She popped back up, and then I was panicked. I was like, you all right? And she was like shocked. She's like, I think so. When she climbed out onto the rocks, which, by the way, full of beer bottles and moccasins.
Okay.
And
And you're not talking shoes. You're talking snakes.
It was the first time I've ever seen someone get instantly bruised, like black and blue, like at that time. Usually bruises take a little bit to
It was
to
on her
form.
legs?
It was on her legs.
And we're talking about Reverend Kelly.
Yeah, Reverend Kelly. And it was real bad. Like in retrospect,
And she's still bruised to this day.
No, but it was pretty. I would say probably one of the top 10 closest you've come to, perishing in your life, I would assume. And then Kelly came into Substantial with her mom about a day later, and your mom kind of gave me the business for allowing...
You let my daughter jump off that? Now make my steak and cheese, you idiot.
Which I got to commend your bravery, Kelly, because going back and looking at...
your bravery of letting Tom make a sub for you and your mom. Who would let him make you food? He's a disgusting human being.
It is pretty impressive. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick while I have you guys on the line is I go back and I look at the Peace River trip that we did every year. And Jamie went the first year we did it, which Crystal reminded me I was 16 turning 17.
Oh, you told me about this. Is this when you had her tagging along as a young girl?
Yeah, well, Jamie, you were 14, I believe, at the time. I was 16, turning 17. I did on my birthday weekend. We were all like John Derbish, my friend I call the Wizard. He was probably 16 at the time. Anyway, a bunch of kids in high school. Somehow our parents let us drive up to Punta Gorda to Peace Road. No, this is pre-cell phone, by the way. So we somehow told our parents, like, hey, I know we're 16, 17, but we're going to go camping for the weekend. We'll see you on Monday. There's no way for them to ever contact us once we left the house.
Yeah, once you're out, you'll see you Monday.
We had zero cell phone, zero contact, and our parents were cool with it. Like
nobody had a beeper?
Yeah, I don't recall if we had a beeper. Like maybe someone
not that matters. Getting a beep in the middle of the woods is kind of useless,
well,
right?
There was no cell phone reception. So once we were out there, by the way, all we had is coolers full of beer and like
no food.
Yeah, no food.
No way to contact anybody if an emergency happened. No snake bite or any sort of safety kit whatsoever. Yeah. How did that happen, Jamie and Kelly? How did our parents Are we more strict nowadays, or our parents, grew up at a different time? They just they're teenagers.
Or is it? Or I'll add one more. Or is it the Miami way?
Yeah, I was going to say this is Florida speaking right now.
Yeah. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I think too, man. I think it's a Florida way.
Because I just can't imagine me ever letting my boys. Now, maybe when they're that age, I'm like, oh, they're responsible enough. But I know myself at that age, and I was not responsible. Still not.
I could totally see my daughter. I could see my daughter walking into a sub shop that Tommy's working at, or Max. Oh, hold on, let me switch. I can see my daughter and Andrea walking into a sub shop that Max works at, and then Andrea yelling at Max for letting Maisie jump off a water tower or something. I could see that. I could see that happening.
Yeah. How did our parents let us do that?
I was 14 or 15, and Kelly didn't even go. My mom let me go with you and Crystal.
Yeah, no, I know. And
so you and your girlfriend at the time, who were 16 and 17, just had a middle school tag along to drink beer on a canoe trip?
Oh, Kelly got sick, and we were talking about this. Crystal,
that's insane, dude.
Crystal thinks that your mom may have made you go because she didn't want to make Crystal fit the bill for the whole canoe, and since Kelly was sick, they're like, Jamie, take Kelly's place.
Take her place. She already paid She already paid. What is it? It's Canoe Outpost.
$100.
Yeah, she already paid Canoe Outpost to the old lady inside.
And then we're just out in the middle of the woods, no cell phone, 10,000 beers.
Just you, your girlfriend, and a middle school girl, and a cooler of beer. That's great.
And by the way, here's the thing. It's not like, I understand if you lived in Montana and you had a history of growing up camping.
No, you'd be an outdoorsman. You'd be a survivalist or something. Yeah.
Literally.
There are kids that know it. We met those kids when we went to Colorado. Remember the 7-year-old?
Yeah.
The 7-year-old had a gun on the back of his four-wheeler, and he could ride that thing, and he was a rancher.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are listening to this, maybe grew up in Ocala or in the sticks, and like,
You're fine.
I've been camping since I was 7 years old.
You're fine.
Listen, I may have been the only person of the entire group that ever camped before. Like, there was Miami, no one camped. No one did any of this. We just, for the first time, we all just went to the woods.
I love it.
Anyway, well, Jamie, Kelly, it's good talking to you, and Jamie and Ben, congratulations
Congrats,
again.
guys.
Thank you.
It was awesome, and it was cool to see something positive in our current environment, and I don't know if Crystal sent a wedding present yet. If she hasn't, it's on its way.
Yeah. It's probably toilet paper, but we were told it wouldn't be in stock until April 15th. So just give it a minute.
We got a toilet paper and paper towel gift the other day, and it it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need stuff. Well, guys, congratulations. Congrats on all the coverage and a very, very happy marriage.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Take care. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly.
Yeah.
I got into a rabbit hole of watching people jump off Snowden Bridge.
Oh, yeah, it's a thing. It's absolutely. I want to see if there's audio real quick before we get a break of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Karatean. Old Karate Joe down here. I want to see.
By the way, Only in Dade is a great Instagram account if you want to see the true Miami that
here,
I grew up in.
let's see.
Because
I don't think there's no audio.
There's
Damn
this
it.
person filming from the building across the street.
Oh, but look at him go.
Going to town.
There he goes. He's a punch. Oh, it's so good. We got to take a break.
Yep.
We'll take a quick one, come back, close out the show. You're listening to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and apparently yard work is essential because, man, they are outside the studio just getting it. My scooter, by the way, to give you an update, is trashed. I had to wipe it down when I got back to the...
I told you.
I went home for lunch. That thing was just so trash. There's a half a pound of sand in my saddlebag. I have to take that thing out and dump it out.
Blowing sand into it?
Yeah, look, I don't blame him. He's bored. The world is ending. He's scared. He's like, just go blow your sand.
I bet you that guy's not scared of them.
No, he's not. He's not even wearing a mask, and he's blowing dirt in his own face.
He don't care.
Do you email or voicemail first? Your choice. What do you want? I got a good voicemail.
Okay.
This guy, I think we have officially hurt this gentleman's feelings because, well, you'll understand.
Tom, Dan, Sam, Butler. This is not the guy with an accent or a wet mouth. I'll talk like a robot. What is your favorite trash food from when you're a kid? Mine is American cheese. When I'm making burgers or grilled cheese, I'm always snacking on a bunch of the slices. I know it's not even actually cheese, but I can't help it. I love it. Love the show, guys. Later.
I love you too.
Manny,
your new name is Robot Wetmouth.
I don't think it was Manny Wetmouth.
Oh, that's 100% Manny.
He said it wasn't though.
Yeah, because he's got his feelings hurt.
I can hear his wet mouth.
Yeah, I can hear your Robot Wetmouth. It's wetter
you can't
than ever.
hide it.
Oh, it did. Who
you
would
need to put some cat litter in there?
Yeah, you're.
Oh, come on, that'll kill him.
You gotta dry it out. Put some sand in there. Come over here, and then I'll let my yard guy blow some dirt in your mouth.
Yeah.
You gotta wet that thing off. You gotta dry it out. Keep your mouth open. You don't need to wear a mask. That's going to hold the moisture in your mouth. You need to, when you're at home, you need to just keep your mouth open all the time and dry it out.
So what was it? Trash food that you ate as a kid?
Trash food. He sounds like, and again, not knock it on you, don't get mad, but you sound like the type of guy that would snack on Kraft singles while you're making hamburgers. You sound like a guy. We don't buy American cheese anymore.
Oh, really? I am much like Wetmouth in the fact that I still buy
Kraft singles.
Singles.
I get the white American.
I don't get Kraft.
So
I get Public brand American cheese oil. It's not even cheese. It's oil.
Yeah, it's fine. It's delicious oil.
Yeah. It's.
Why not get cheddar though? Why not get real cheese?
Because I think I'm just like this gentleman. Nostalgia makes me continue to buy it, and for whatever reason, if I'm gonna eat like a bologna and cheese sandwich, which is not often, I prefer bologna and oil cheese over any other thing.
My dad never put the cheese on it. You know, like cheeseburgers, no way. Cheese on a taco, no way. Cheese on taco salad,
he just didn't like cheese.
No, he'd eat it on pizza. It wasn't that he didn't like it. He just like, like if he was having a bologna sandwich, it would be bologna, or it'd be 2 slices of white bread, bologna, salt.
If I'm doing burgers or like that kind of thing, I'll use a cheddar or Swiss or something.
Yeah, it tastes a little bit better.
Yeah, an actual cheese, not the oil. But for eggs, though, too, I'll still use oil cheese.
But it melts better. You like the cheese that will actually has like a melting quality to it.
Me too.
I agree. There are certain cheeses that just are not. They do not excel at melting. I'm sure Juan could give us a list of cheeses that are better at melting than.
Well, once you melt the oil cheese and infuse it into your eggs, it is no longer cheese anymore. It's just like egg covering. Is bizarre.
Yeah.
Like
I don't like to mix it up though. You mix it up. I don't like to mix my cheese in the eggs. I like to finish eggs, put cheese on top.
Me too. Yeah.
So my cheese will maintain some sort of like.
You can taste the cheese better when you do it that.
When I mix it up, I feel like I just get cheese eggs, which is a completely separate dish in my mind, but that's how weird I am.
Yeah. No.
It has its place, and they're good. Scrambled eggs with cheese in them is good, but I like a covering, a blanket.
A trash food that I would do includes cheese here. I'm actually doing it tonight. So I'm going to make spaghetti, and you rip up your white American cheese, and you lay it on top of the spaghetti and let it melt on top.
Oh, that's really white trash.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's like noodles and ketchup.
It's so good.
Yeah. So you're putting like
Kraft singles.
Single
White.
Yeah, white
singles.
American.
White American. That's an odd one.
It's a richer flavor. It's good. I'm
by
telling
design,
you.
it is. I mean,
Don't knock it till you try it.
I mean, think about what you said.
And then
You just outlined the entire socioeconomic hierarchy of the United States. Is there a reason that it's richer? White America?
That's
Why's
right.
it got to be white America's richer? Racists.
So you melt the cheese on top of your spaghetti?
Yes.
You don't use Parmesan cheese? Mozzarella? Not even like fresh mozzarella.
White
Again, it's
American.
not about taste.
I used
it's
to
about
just do
nostalgia.
regular American, but then whatever reason I switched it up to white American, I'll never go back.
But the blobs of fresh mozzarella, see, that's what I get addicted to. The little pearls
Yeah.
of like fresh mozzarella that you would use on like a caprese salad or like a sandwich or something. If you put those in your spaghetti, then now you're talking, because that's when you get the stringy, gooey, crazy Italian food taste.
Again, you're looking for what tastes the best, and this is what white trash nostalgia gets you.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's totally different. Like,
Yeah.
It's not about taste. It's about what you're comfortable with. It's comfort food because, you know, you...
I'm telling you,
you
try
did this
it.
when you're a kid.
I
You did the
would-
frozen bread test.
I'll
Do
definitely
the
try
cheese
it.
on spaghetti test.
I had frozen... When I went home today to eat my sandwich, I had to use frozen bread. It sucks.
Don't do it.
Don't talk about it.
But anybody that says it's the same or close to the same, like, because people are doing like the sit-stand debate. And I'm with you 100% on this one. Like, I know we've argued in the past sit and stand. I know you're a stander, you know I'm a sitter, and we've agreed to disagree. But on this frozen bread thing, I'm sorry for all of you that have called in and said it's the same, just as fresh, blah, blah, blah. It is not.
I still haven't tried it.
I pulled one piece out. I was sitting there waiting to make a sandwich. I kept touching it. It was crumbly. It had, like, moisture had been sucked out. I had to toast it or I wouldn't get back here for our interview in time. So I put it in the toaster.
Yeah, well,
it
that's
got
it.
too toasted, so now I'm making a toasted sandwich.
Yeah.
Hard bread.
It's garbage.
You got to let it thaw for 24 hours before you do anything. But even then, the crust is never the same. Something changes.
Yeah, the crust wasn't the same when I pulled it out of the bag.
Something
It had already been compromised in some weird way. But anyway, trash food for me. One, I'll give you two. I'll give you one that used to be, but I don't eat it anymore, and I haven't since, would be the Vienna sausage. My dad was real
I
big
always
on
hated
the
those.
Vienna sausage, and we used to love them. Like, we'd get a can and share a can while we were watching wrestling.
I ate
But
that
now
too.
that I think about Vienna sausages, I'm like, should I? Can you can I grill those? Or are they meant to only be like a mush meat sandwich? Or a mush meat, like, you eat it with a toothpick or something, right?
Not for grilling. There's really no way to make it better. It's just what
meat
it
in a
is.
can.
Yeah. Just
So I've abandoned that one. But
Spam
I
like garbage.
got a worse one. Did you ever do flying saucers as a kid?
Oh, you cut the bologna, cook it, and put the mashed potatoes on the
Yeah,
top?
and then cheese on top?
They used to do that. No cheese, but they used to do that at school.
Yeah.
They didn't do that at my school.
Yeah, must have been a
I remember
yeah,
that,
we had
yeah.
they'd fry the bologna and they'd get it like that little bit of brown you
Yeah,
get. And
that's
then
the only way I eat bologna is fried.
yeah, fried bologna's dope. And then they put a blob of the yellowy, whitey mashed
Yeah.
potato. Those mashed potatoes were, well, I'm assuming they're just instant mashed potatoes. But here's another one. Anybody says they don't like instant mashed potatoes, I don't trust them because they're not real mashed potatoes, but I still like them.
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
their
yeah.
place.
Of course.
I'm not saying they're homemade like the one that Juan makes or like just a simple smashed potato boiling your own is always going to be better, but I like them. My trash food, combos.
Combos are good.
I like combos, and I wish I didn't like combos because it's a pretzel that you hollowed out, and then in the center of it, you just put saturated fat. That's all it is. Pretzels alone are not that bad.
I don't know if this is a Miami thing, but did you guys grow up with potato sticks?
Oh,
Yeah.
hell, dude,
Okay.
you
In the
are
can?
related to my father. You're
Oh.
talking about Vienna sausages and potato sticks. Both of those would have been purchased at exactly the same time. My dad would eat an entire can of potato sticks. He loved them.
They come in a tennis ball style.
Yeah, like a
cardboard
Pringles
can.
type.
Yeah.
Did you used to put it on your hot dogs and hamburgers?
Cuban sandwiches.
We put them on our computers. It's like, wow, that was the problem.
Yeah. It was putting on
Ooh.
Cuban sandwiches.
That
down in
try
Miami.
that. I've never
That
done
sounds delicious.
I'm gonna get a Publix Cuban sandwich and get some potato
I
sticks.
wonder if, because I'm a big fan of the black bean deli Cuban sandwich, the medianoche with the Cuban sweetbread.
Yeah.
But it does sound like you could kick it up a notch by throwing some potato sticks on there and then pressing it.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
get the crunch with the soft bread, the medianoche bread. Ooh, I don't know. I might have to try that.
I saw a meme the other day.
Juan saying potato sticks go in a lot of Cuban sandwiches. I had no idea
I
that was a
didn't
thing.
either, yeah.
That's what I've
like
only
that.
seen it down in Miami.
That
but
sounds
I'm sure
amazing.
It's happening everywhere.
Did you have it at Substantial? Did you have potato sticks on hand?
No, didn't have them.
Cube pickles though. They had the cube pickles.
It was all about the cube pickles.
I've been doing that lately, dude.
Cubing your pickles?
Yeah, I have.
How do you do it?
I get a
dice it.
I've got the holes.
Yeah.
And I dice them. I just chop them like you would an onion or anything else, and I make them about that big.
Yeah. There should be about I'd say a 1/4 inch.
They're good,
cube.
and they work on anything too. Like I've been putting them on I put them on hamburgers.
Yeah.
I even put them on a hot dog, which I'm not a big fan of anything other than the way I like hot dogs. They're good. Yeah. Cube pickles.
And this is not relish, by the way.
No.
Relish too cubed, too small. You need a
relish is more
medium
wet.
cube?
Yeah.
Relish is more wet. Like normally when okay, tell me if you guys do this. If you were to put pickles on a hamburger, do you take the jar of, let's say you're just using, for sake of argument, let's say you're just using a jar of hamburger chips.
Yes.
Hamburger dill pickled chips. You take your fork, you go in there and you grab yourself about, 7 to 10 on a fork. Do you dry those on a paper towel before you place them on your hamburger to not get extra vinegar juice on there?
No.
I do.
That's psychopathic behavior.
No, it's not. I don't want.
You just shake it off in the sink and then put it on.
Yeah. I'm not going to shake it off in
I
the sink.
squeeze
I shake my D in the sink. I shake my pickles on a napkin.
You pat your pickles dry?
I pat my pickles, yes.
Yeah. I'll take a handful and I'll squeeze the juice out of them back into the jar.
That's disgusting.
I like that move. I might start doing that.
And then I'll,
Yeah, and then fling them on the ground.
What the hell?
But I won't pat them
Tracy in our Twitch chat room dries the pickles. Let's see. Somebody else
What's the
here.
point?
Yes, you always have to
Just
dry
put
the
a
pickles. I'm
goddamn
winning.
cucumber on there
I'm
then.
winning. I'm winning. People are drying the pickles.
I'm essentially drying them, but I'm not going through the extra step of taking a napkin and patting them off. I just squeeze.
I don't
That's
really
not the
pat
same.
them.
They're wringing them out.
I just lay them on there, and then I just kind of fold the napkin over because, like,
What?
It's like bacon. You get the
to get the extra grease off. I don't want the extra pickle juice to compromise my bun. I've already got condiments that are going to make that soggy. I don't need any extra vinegar juice assisting the mustard and ketchup or mayonnaise.
It's like if you don't shake your mustard bottle and then
You get a little bit of water.
and then you squirt that water.
Well, first it's crust.
That mustard flavor.
First it's crust, and then followed by like milky water.
and then you're like, oh, because then
I want to throw my sandwich out the window.
because then you're like, well, I'll just put some thick mustard over the top of it, hiding it. But you already compromised.
it's compromised.
You wet the bun.
You wet the bun.
With gross mustard water.
Yeah.
And why is water even in there? No business being in there.
Yeah. Take that out.
I can't believe people pat their pickles.
Oh, I'm winning. I mean, everybody in the chat room's like, pat.
This
pat,
is like
pat,
frozen
pat,
bread
pat.
to me. This is weird to me.
Patting the pickles?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're meant to be wet.
Try it.
By the way,
No, they're still damp. They're just, they still contain moisture. It's just that extra vinegar that they've been pickled in.
how do I
Give
get
it a little shake. It's fine.
get yelled at for taking the snot out of tomatoes and you're patting your pickles?
Yeah.
She's
I
yelling
agree. You're
at
both
me.
It's
crazy.
the same thing.
She's yelling at me.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's the same thing. I'm like, you yell at me, you're like, don't take the booger snot out. The booger snot is
Yeah,
just.
and he's taking the pickle
Yeah,
juice off the
Yeah, but
pickles.
you
Pickles
pat your
are pickles.
pickles. In fact, you do one step further. You torture your pickles by squeezing them
I
to death.
wring
and
'em.
You wring your pickles.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pat.
yeah.
You're a ringer. I'm a patter.
Yeah, but then if you're gonna pat your pickles, take the booger snot out.
I'm with Mayhew Mayhem in the chat. He says, pat the bacon, shake the pickles. I'm with you.
I don't know about shaking it. I don't want to shake it. Patting is so much more precise.
Then
Patting,
you're drying it out too much.
no. You got to try it.
Hard stance.
I
You
don't
gotta-
like the big wet pickle. That's too wet.
Yeah, it is too wet.
I need it juicy, not wet.
Yeah, I need
Excuse me?
it. I need it
There's a
damp.
difference.
I need a damp pickle. It's got to have some moisture. It can't be dried.
Yeah. If it's too dry, and then turns into a whole different thing.
Yeah. Well, then it's just where's your stance on fried pickles?
I'll eat a couple of them, but every time Crystal orders something like that, it's like good for a two eat.
You know what's
novelty,
better? The
too
fried
much.
pickle spears.
I've had a fried
They-
pickle
They
spear.
look like fries. They're better. Way better.
I like zucchini fries, but they shouldn't be called fries. I like sweet potato fries, but they shouldn't be called fries.
So what should they be called? Spears
Fried pickle spheres.
or sticks?
And fried sweet potato sticks. And then
Okay.
French fries are fries. Draw the line. Fries. That's what those are.
Well, a sweet potato is a potato, which is a fry.
It is, although.
But it shouldn't be fried.
shouldn't be in the same category as potato. I put it in a different.
It's like the healthier
You
alternative.
can't change what kind of vegetable it is.
I'd like to though, because it's not the same.
It's like an ostrich and a hummingbird. I've said this before. It shouldn't be considered birds.
Exactly.
In the same.
A penguin's not a
two
bird.
different.
Everyone knows a penguin's not a bird.
This
It's a
is
little feather man.
Vegetable Thursday.
It's a feather fish.
It is. It's a.
That lives on the ice half the time.
It's a man walking feather fish, is what I call it.
Yeah.
God, everybody knows that. Give me an email, Sam, if you got something good, because the only other voicemail I have is weird. I'll give you this one while you're looking for one. This is a weird voicemail.
Hey, guys, quick question. I'm trying to get a hold of Ben Bungie. His website sucks.
Good luck.
If you have any contact information for Ben Bungie, please feel free to call me back at 912.
Okay, and then he gives his number.
All right.
But I don't know why he's...
Ben Bungie was a character called us years ago.
Yeah.
And apparently owned a bungee cord company.
He sent me some bungees.
I'm assuming this guy listened to one of the mega mixes because I think Ben Bungie was on one of them.
He was on the mega mix.
And we talked to him one time after. In fact, in the last OG show, I think Ben Bungie was on the last OG show, which was 4 years ago. But that was the last time we talked to him, like about 4 years ago.
He fell off.
Don't know what he's doing.
He bungeed his last bungee.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to him.
Definitely eccentric. It's the type of guy where when you talk to him, he's saying like, grandiose things. And
he'd tell you what you want to hear.
But also you're like, are you listening to me? Is this a character that you're doing?
Is it a put on?
I don't know.
Real?
Yeah. And I could never tell. He never broke character, so I could only assume that was his real personality. But it was very bizarre because you ever talk to someone and you're like, "Are we connecting right now? Are you?"
What are you?
Are you inputting what I'm saying? Like I can't tell if you're following me or not, or you're just waiting for me to talk and then you say some crazy thing. Like it was very odd.
Yeah, but, he was definitely an interesting man.
What was the name of his bungee company?
I don't know.
I thought it was just Ben's Bungees. I don't know.
That guy said the website sucks. I'm going to have to go and I guess listen to it to find the website because I don't remember what. Oh, somebody's saying he was on the last OG.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what his website was. I'd go there and try to at least fire off an email to him. But
well, we said it on the OG show, I'm sure, when we talked to him or whatever.
I don't listen to that.
I'm not sure if, you want to buy your bungee cord specifically from someone. Like, I don't know if you're that particular with bungee cords.
There is a YouTube channel called Kelly and Ben Bungie.
Really?
Is it the same Ben Bungie? Can't be.
And it's the same Kelly that jumped off the bridge.
I don't think.
How did we not know that?
What is it? Is it about bungee cords, or is it just?
Pickler and Ben is an hour-long multi-segmented lifestyle talk show filmed in Nashville and hosted by country star Kelly Pickler, known for her quick wit and bubbly personality.
I remember Kelly Pickler from American Idol.
They're doing like some kind of workout with bungees. It's weird.
Oh, it's a bungee workout. Yeah, that's all the rage right now. Butler keeps getting me, wanting me to buy some. He's like, you should buy that bow, the bungee bow, and I'm like,
don't do that. It was stupid.
I'd rather just, I'd rather punch meat like Rocky or something. Like, I don't want to lift a bungee bow. Yeah. First email.
Okay. Hey, hello, mediocre quarantine. I'm listening to Tuesday's show, Two Grumpy Old Men, while I was cutting the grass, and I had to stop to write this email. Tom is allowed to like and hate whatever he wants to. Things are subjective, and everyone is allowed their opinion. However, I don't know how, if it's a bit or not, but it blows my mind that Tom doesn't understand how some people are entertained by a show if he is not. Not everyone finds documentaries or sailing entertaining. I love football and can't stand the Bachelor-type shows, but I also understand that there are plenty of people who do and also hate things like football. That doesn't make football less entertaining because people don't like it. I also used to love the X Games. Like Tom, I used to watch it all the time. Then I graduated high school, and I haven't watched it since. If you can't explain to Tom the entertainment value of video games, there's no way anyone can make him understand wrestling. Rant over. Love the show. I love you, Tom.
I know what you're saying. Everybody, to each his own, and it's all subjective, and entertainment is all subjective. But I will make the argument that some entertainment that people are into is stupid. No, I can't.
Well, if you take that away from us, what are we going to talk about? If we can't say things are stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
I've made 25 years of broadcasting. All I do is say things are stupid. That's all I've ever done.
Yeah. Do you want me to be fair?
You have a tattattoo that says "Paid to Hate."
Yeah,
on your
right
chest.
on my chest.
You want me to be fair and balanced about everything?
No.
You're gonna have the worst show ever.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun.
I'm like. And I understand The Bachelor. I can understand the. I know we were talking about this yesterday. I understand the entertainment value about watching human beings argue and the drama and stuff, even though it's all fake, or at least semi-scripted, and the fact that the producers are kind of leaning or leading you towards what they want. And everybody needs to realize, these reality shows aren't actually reality.
No.
And I think everybody knows that. But you can suspend belief, and just like wrestling or whatever, you get it lost in the story and just take it for what it is. I understand that. What I was saying is that, when you get down into, the virtual Bachelor that they're doing or whatever, and feel free to call in and we can and make the argument why it's entertaining. But I'm saying, some stranger, some 22-year-old girl or 25-year-old girl talking about her interests to this other guy that I don't know, and he's describing what he does for a living as a software engineer, and they're just having some conversation back and forth. It's hard for me to find the entertainment value in that. That's all I'm saying. Because it seems to me that I'm like, this person's not really interesting, And now if she is, or she had some sort of crazy background, is like, hey, I used to be a gymnast in the Chinese, circus, or what, some crazy. Some crazy backstory that I'll listen to that because it's interesting, but you just rambling on about you enjoying dates with long walks on the beach, and
I'm a naturalist. I'll wipe my butt with this plant, she said in the thing, and I'm like, whatever.
It's hard for me to figure out what the entertainment value.
Can we talk
is.
about last night when you and I were texting a little bit, and I sent you a picture of my wife playing Animal Crossing.
Okay, yeah.
Which I know you do not like.
Listen,
but I saw a crack of sunshine. Because I'm on the hunt. I got to go back through my gaming cabinet.
Yeah.
But I'm on the hunt. Tom's looking for a Wii, a regular Wii. Remember the old school?
Yeah. Which I
didn't
realize
I have one.
I didn't realize
I might have one.
They discontinued them. But I was thinking about
so fun.
Some sort of gift for my boys for Easter, and
God damn, they get a Wii for Easter.
Something, yeah.
They've stepped up Easter since I was a kid.
No, I always got a gift for Easter too. That must be another Florida thing. Are we just
I'm from Florida?
I feel like we're like trash brothers sometimes, because I always got an extravagant Easter basket, and there was usually something in there.
We got like a bouncy ball or something.
Yeah.
That was the extent.
I got like a nice G.I. Joe,
Slinky.
like a set. I got something cool.
Oh, my mom would make it like second Christmas.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
There would be so much gifts. Now, this is not right, because I realized that you shouldn't buy a bunch of gifts for Easter, but anyway, there would be the Easter basket, and then there would be like 5 or 6 other presents on the dining room table.
How did your mom afford this with 3 kids?
Dad's life insurance.
No, okay.
and there's just myriads of hidden marijuana money that we can't talk about.
Yeah. And so blew through that quick, though.
You got to.
I reaped the benefits.
There's only so many
early.
second Christmases you could have before.
Didn't even care. There's so many toys.
Look at this great. Oh, yes, more garbage.
It was the old dad's dead, so you try to buy your kids happiness. It was just, she didn't know what else to do.
Sounds like you're
God
kind of
bless
doing
her.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I learned it from inside counts.
I learned it from watching my mom.
Yeah, still counts.
I learned it from you, Mom.
I learned it from watching you. We got to get out of here, guys. Thanks so much for watching, listening, pressing play, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Just search Tom and Dan Live. For those of you that watch us live on Twitch, thank you guys. Very, very fun. You matter as much to us as we probably do to you. It does my heart good to be able to talk to you guys every day. So stay safe, wash your hands, stay inside, stay home, and we will see all of you back here tomorrow.